My coaching client, Laura, recently told me that she saved more money than she spent on my coaching because I helped her simplify and consolidate her tech stack. And now I want to do the same thing for you too. I have put out a free tool called the Tools Audit. It will help you determine what tools you use, how much you're paying, where you can consolidate and eliminate to simplify your small business tech stack. You can go to streamlined.fm/tools to get your free tools audit today. That's streamlined.fm/tools. So I vibe coded an iPhone app. I had strep this week, and taking time off because I'm sick is my least favorite thing, and I'll do it. I strongly feel that if you try to power through being sick, you will just be sick longer. And so the first day I had strep, I went to the doctor, I got an antibiotic, and I slept the entire day. And then the next day I was feeling better and I was getting antsy. And so I decided to be upright for a little bit, and I decided to spend that time being upright, trying out Xcode's new integrations with AI coding agents. I hate the word agents. So I used ChatGPT's Codex for this because I have a free account until the end of the month. For a couple more days into March, I should say. And so it was at no cost to me, and I had this idea for an app that, and I should say that this is not a unique idea. But I had an idea for an app where it's a task manager, but you put in 3 tasks for the day, and that's it. And so the whole idea behind the app is it prompts you at a user-decided time in the morning, presumably. It prompts you once at some point. I guess this kind of assumes that you start working at some point after midnight, but whatever. It's in the morning your time. And it says, what are the 3 things you want to work on today? And so you put them in. And then at a second point throughout the day, and the defaults are 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m. At a second point throughout the day, it'll send you a push notification and say, hey, how are you progressing on your 3 tasks? And then at the third point in the day, it will do the same thing and say, how did you do on those 3 tasks? And so I'm going to read you the entire prompt. I want to make a super simple iPhone app. Each day it prompts you at a specific time, and it asks you what 3 things you want to accomplish today. At a second time, it prompts you asking how progress is going. At a third time, it asks you if you accomplished them. The user gets to choose the times. The app should have a nice interface that displays the 3 tasks with tick boxes and a date-based archive. The list does not and should not ever roll over. The initial open of the app can give a quick onboarding screen telling them to input their 3 tasks for the day, or maybe it's 3 tasks and then set your time, pick your theme, things like that. I didn't put things like that. Set your times, pick your theme, and add your actual tasks for the day. The default times should be 9 a.m., 12 p.m., and 5 p.m., all local to the user. It should also have settings to change the times and maybe 3 to 4 color schemes for both light and dark mode. Finally, it should have widgets and complications for home screen, today view, home lock screen, Apple Watch, and standby mode. I know nothing about iPhone app development, so I'm going to need a lot of help. So, what did I learn in this ordeal? You should not give it that grand of a prompt. Though Codex at least did a pretty good job of figuring out how to narrow down the scope. So this was over the course of 8 hours that I did this, but there were like 4 in the middle where not maybe not 4. I'll say 3 in the middle where it not inexplicably, it broke annoyingly, and the AI could not fix it. And this was a non-necessary feature. And when I got it back into working condition again, and then tried to add that feature again, it broke again. It was custom app icons, which I figured would be easy because all of these apps offer it, but it's definitely not an MVP, and I hated it. Actually, the whole app icon thing is dumb because I'm not a designer, and I thought I could like generate one with Nano Banana, and it's not the right size, and it kind of looks like garbage. But this is just for me. Well, it's just for me now. I'll get to that in a minute, though. Okay. Overall impressions. It did a really nice job of creating the basic screens. So the today view, the archive, which has the 3 tasks, the progress, and the completion. It's like a little task journal. And then the settings, it did a really nice job coming up with the themes, because I just said 4 themes and it picked sunrise, which is yellow, ocean, which is like a navy blue or a blue, forest, which is green, and graphite, which is gray. And then I later added an appearance setting to always be in light, dark, or system, or match the system. And so generally that did a good job. The things that we shed that were causing a lot of problems were the custom app icons, like so that the user could set one, or that one got set when the theme got set, which I thought was a thing, but apparently it takes some know-how to do that. And then the Apple Watch complications, that just became its own thing, and so we shed that. So the way I would do it in the future is like get the core things down. The widgets were really important to me. And so like widgets had to be a part of it, but like adding the widgets later would have probably been smarter. So by the end of the day, I had an MVP with widgets. The widgets were okay. The home screen, lock screen complications didn't work, and I don't have a working Apple Watch app yet. But the notifications are working, adding and editing tasks, and then the journal part, that's all working, and it's on my iPhone right now. And I'm like it's weird. I'm like a little bit obsessed with it. And I think I'm going to have like bigger thoughts around single serving apps, right? Like I said to my friend Brian recently that like, that this happened with websites in like the mid 2000s, where suddenly anybody could make a website without needing to be a developer. And like to make like truly amazing custom bespoke websites, you still need to be a developer. But I suspect we're seeing the same thing with apps now. And I did this inside of Xcode, so I am a little more willing to trust it than just having ChatGPT write the code or Gemini write the code and me copy and paste it into Xcode, which I feel I would not personally be able to do despite being a developer by trade. And so by the end of the day, I had the working app on my iPhone with the interface all cleaned up and using the New York font, which I really like. And then I had a widget on my home screen. The next day, so today as I record this, I decided to polish things up a bit. And I really wanted good lock screen widgets. And so I have a couple of good lock screen widgets. I tightened up the widgets I created and made a small widget for standby mode, which shows you the number of completed tasks and then the the topmost uncompleted task. So you put in 3 tasks. If you did 1 and 2, it's going to show 3. If you did 1 and 3, it's going to show 2. Um, and then if you haven't done anything, it's going to show 1. So I'm really happy with the way this turned out. How am I going to use this though? So this is half baked at this point, and I would still want to do like a test flight to make sure it works on more than just the iPhone 17 Pro. Um, but something that I notice a lot of solopreneurs struggle with is they don't necessarily know what to work on, and they don't necessarily know how they're spending their time. And I think this app it scratched an itch for me, because like I could put labels in Todoist to be like top 3 every day, but this is really easy and accountable, and it lets me look at what I have in Todoist and kind of pick the 3 I want to do today. So I love Todoist. I will never stop using Todoist. But this lets me distill what I have in Todoist and then kind of journal my progress. And that's the other part of it, right? Is that I had a kind of discovery call, kind of like it was like more information seeking for me. It was a customer call, right? Where I was wondering like what her problems were and how I could help solve them. And she said, you have such great advice, but then you say things like audit your time or like track your time. And I don't like, we don't know what to do with that. And she's not the only person who has said this. And so part of this app was like, what if it just kind of pings you throughout the day? Not too many times, because I have notifications turned off, more or less. But like, what if it pings you at times you get to decide? Mine more or less line up with scheduled summary, scheduled summary notifications on iPhone. And it just says, hey, how are you progressing? Because there you can say, I really wanted to do this, but I got distracted, and here's what I did instead. At the end of the day, it's like, did you complete your tasks? And you say like, no, for these reasons. And then that's all archived, right? So like it tells you if you completed the tasks, and it has your progress and completion. So you have this little task journal. And now you don't have to necessarily say, oh, I'm auditing my time, but you can look back over a week and say, man, I spent a lot of time arguing with people on Twitter. So I don't know. I think this is a really interesting app. Because it's not my core business and I don't want it to be my core business, I suspect I would give it away for free as some sort of like lead magnet, hopefully, to get people into my orbit and my philosophy. If you're interested, so I'll include some screenshots of it in the show notes here. But if you're interested, let me know. It's iOS only. Sorry, Android users. I don't think I'm going to make an Android version of this unless I can just like throw iOS code somewhere, Swift code, and be like, turn this into an Android app. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be feature complete. It's not going to be ad supported. I'm never going to ask for money. It's just a really simple task journal of sorts. I'd love to hear your feedback on this. Go to streamlinedfeedback.com. And again, I'll probably send a test flight out if and when I do it to like a select group from my list. So if you want to do that, let me know. And until next time, I hope you find some space in your week.